Okay, thank you all for being here tonight. I'm Jennifer with Adventure Planners. You all probably know that already. If you're watching this on a rewatch, hi, we're glad you're here too. We're here to hear from Chris Barnacle with CIE Tours tonight. We're going to be talking specifically about the Northern Lights Quest. In Iceland. So we're going to take a group there in October of this year. You can also choose to travel any other time of the year. If you want to go in a different time or you don't want to go with our group, that's totally fine. We can chat more about that. CIE is wonderful. They go to all the countries listed that you see on the screen, and I can help you plug you into the right trip tour for you or your family. All right, Chris, I'll hand it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Jennifer. So yeah, my name is Chris Barnacle and I'm with CIE Tours. I'm the business development manager in the area. Uh, you may or not be familiar with us. We are what is known as a niche tour operator. I'm with the company 13 years. Just a couple of years ago, I got another week's vacation. So that big woohoo you heard was when they gave me that extra week. And when I first joined the company back then, people would ask, "Where do you go?" And it was always Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. Because we are an Irish-owned company, we're under the umbrella of the Irish government. CIE is actually an acronym for a Gaelic term, Chorus Umper Erin, which translates back to the Irish Transport Authority. So Bus Erin, which is the national bus system, is a sister company of ours. Irish Rail is a sister company, and Dublin Bus are all sister companies of ours. So they're responsible for transporting everybody, the locals for the most part, around the country while they're there. We, as a company, are responsible to bring tourists from around the world into the country. And what we did, it's kind of like in the travel industry, 2019, 2018 was there was this dark demarcation line. That's when COVID happened. And we, just before COVID happened, we made the executive decision to expand the product line. We really did it for a couple of reasons. One's to not have all of our eggs in one basket. And while we've grown, we haven't expanded that. We haven't lost the what makes us special. Um, so we added Iceland and Italy to the mix back at that time. Iceland was an up and coming destination. It has very much arrived. And Italy had been hot since I've been in the industry my entire career. It's never slowed down. So that's what we did back in 18 or 19. And then this year, for the first time, we're going to Spain for the first time, and we are doing Sicily. So we expanded the Italy product a little bit. Now, what we're going to talk about tonight is our Northern Lights Quest of Iceland tour. So we go to Iceland this itinerary year round. It's the same itinerary year round, and we break the itinerary up or the seasons up from October through March is considered we quote we sell those as Northern Lights departures. And then April through September are the regular season. I was chatting with Jennifer before you all came on, and when I met her and her husband for the first time, we were chatting, and I had must have just come back from Iceland because I was pumped up when I came back from Iceland. It is a wonderful, wonderful destination. I absolutely loved it. I was actually there the same time that you folks are going. It was the first week of October. And I just came back and I'd go back in a heartbeat. But the departure we're looking at, as I said, Northern Lights Quest of Iceland, it's from the 5th of October. That's when the tour starts, and then it ends on the 10th. And I do believe Jennifer has pre-nights and post-nights. I think one pre-night and two post-nights. Jennifer, if you have the ability to speak, is that the case?
Yes, that's correct.
Correct. So what I'm going to talk about with you tonight is the tour itself. So it's round trip Reykjavik. Oh, and I have to preface everything with the fact that I do not pronounce the names of these places well. I'm just going to talk about them as anonymous places because I just don't do well with Icelandic names. But you're going to go in and out of Reykjavik. As I said, the first stop is in Hella. And then Kalfafell, and then back into Reykjavik. Now, just a little bit, to expand on what I had told you about us, as I said, we are still a niche tour operator. We don't do the world, and when we do expand into places like Iceland and Italy, like we did back in 18, we think about it a long time. As you can see, we're doing Spain for the first time. It was 2 years before we made the decision to pull the trigger on that because we have really high standards. We've got an excellent name in the industry itself, and we wanted to make sure that the quality of these new destinations were going to equal what we have in our core product of Ireland and Britain. So you can rest assured that that's going to be the case here. And even though we're Irish owned, when you travel with us, you will have local guides. So you'll be led by an Icelandic, either man or woman, and a driver as well. So you get that local flavor. If you've ever taken a guided vacation, you know that the guide can make or break the quality of the tour and your experience. So we have the best. We also have a great feature called No Optional Extras. And what that talks about is the fact that when you travel with this, we include many things. And one of the things we don't ask our drivers to do is to sell you optional extras. And I'll talk about a specific one for Iceland in just a little bit. But what's nice about that is that you know what you're going to be doing when you get there, and you're not going to get nickel and dimed while you're on the tour. You're not going to spend any extra money to do these little side excursions because what we feel should be included is included in the tour. So you're not going to be spending a ton of extra money, kind of like shore excursions, so to speak, on a ship. You won't be doing that when you're traveling with us. Our hotel quality on this tour, it's Iceland. You're in a four-star hotel when you're in Reykjavik. I've got some pictures, and then when you go out into the country, they're going to be three-star. We have an excellent guest satisfaction rating of 95% and may even be a point higher by now. And this is not a number that we just pull out of the air. What you'll do when you travel with us, the guide will give you a questionnaire at the end of the tour. And you fill that out and you're asked to rate the meals, the hotels, the guides, the thises and the that's. And then they turn it back into our office. Our main office is in Dublin. Uh, as far as the tours are concerned. But and then someone has the wonderful opportunity to compile all of that information, and we use it really as for twofold. One, we do it for quality control. As I said, when we go into a new destination, we want to make sure and we're careful picking our partners. And what we do is when we get those surveys back, we just keep an eye and make sure that the people we're working with are living up to CIE standards. And then we also do it as well with we look at the tour, and if we see enough feedback where it says, "Oh, we could have spent a little more time here, or, a little less time would have worked on that one as well," we may tweak an itinerary by 15 minutes or so. Nothing major because we're pretty sure we have it down. But if we're off by a little bit, we'll make some changes on it. And as I said, the offices we have, the main office here in the States is in beautiful Morristown, New Jersey. That's where marketing and our call center and accounting and all of those non-sales people, that's where they are, although our VP of sales is there. And then the office in Dublin handles all of our Irish relationships. And then the office in London handles basically all of the new things, and the UK or Great Britain tours as well. And one thing that you'll see with us, there is a direct correlation between that no optional extra policy and the quality of the guides. And while what I'm going to tell you is I heard from an Irish guide, it relates to all of our guides. Because I was chatting with one little guy named Dennis, I remember, and he was telling me that this no optional extra feature, is why the best guides want to work with CIE Tours. His exact words is, "We're not salespeople." He says, "When I start my month, knowing I don't have to sell X amount to pay my bills, I do a better job. And I always say their job is to educate and entertain. You're there to learn and you're there to have a good time. And our guides do it better than anybody else. Now, when you get your documents, everybody gets this. This is not a per couple. Every person gets amongst the printed material you'll get, which will have your hotel information, your flight information, maybe, or that may be coming from Jennifer. But everybody gets the backpack. Everybody gets that luggage strap on the right-hand side there. So you put that around your luggage before you leave for the airport at home. So it's easy to identify your luggage upon arrival in Reykjavik. Plus, it's easy for the bellman because what your baggage handling is included. You do not have to touch your luggage from the time you grab it off of the turnstile in Reykjavik. You bring it to the coach. You don't have to touch it again if you don't want until you get back to the airport to go home. Um, so all of that is included. We up the luggage tags. In that little black pouch is a rain poncho on the off chance that it drizzles while you're there. We've added an AC adapter. So it's really used to charge your phone when you're in the hotel. I've used it in 4 different countries. It's one of those that actually works. And then we have a water bottle as well for you to refill your water. But again, everybody gets that. So Iceland, as I said, I came back fired up about Iceland. I absolutely positively loved it. The capital region is Reykjavik. That's where you're in and out of. The southern region is where the home of the Golden Circle, and I'll talk about that a little bit when we go over the itinerary. And then on the southern peninsula is where you're going to see the lava fields and the hot springs and whatnot. Very volcanic area, as you're probably aware. Just some pictures, the lovely Icelandic lassies. There they are for you. Um, that picture in the middle, that was actually our guide when we were in Iceland. That's our guide and his wife. That was back. Someone told me though that there may have been a semi-recent eruption in Iceland, but that was back when that as far as I know, I meant to check today to see if there was anything and I didn't get a chance. But as I said, it's a very volcanic area. On the continuing around clockwise, that's a couple in the Secret Lagoon, which I'll talk to you about. It's absolutely wonderful. You're in nature, you're in the middle of nowhere, just a wonderful feeling and exposure. Continuing on with the kids, then you have the statue of Leif Erikson in front of the church in Reykjavik. And again, there's David, because this is a neat kind of story. So we took that picture when we were with him back in 18, and you'll be going to a place where the iceberg, the pieces of the glacier, they fall off. I'll tell you about it in a sec, and they come on. They ultimately make their way to shore, about the size of cars. And what he did, he broke off a piece of the iceberg, the ice. Yeah, I guess you call it an iceberg. And that's what chilled our drinks that night. So we had Icelandic drinks filled up that was chilled by the ice from the glacier.
Chris, they did that for us in Alaska, and the guide called them Bergie Bits.
Bergie bits.
Yes.
It's just neat. It's just a neat experience.
Yeah.
So we're getting to the point where I'm going to just describe as opposed to pronounce. So of course, one of the features here now, this being Mother Nature, there is no guarantee that you'll see the Northern Lights, but they have been very active in the last few years. Then there's one of the volcanoes. Again, the most recent eruption was for that one there that begins with the F. And then you'll go up to one of the glaciers that begins with the V. And so Foss, not bad. I'll take a shot at that one, is one of the waterfalls. Plenty of waterfalls in Iceland. And this is one that you go and visit. You actually have the ability, you can walk behind the waterfall there. So, oh, I didn't do it, but just about everybody else did. But I've turned to a wimp lately. So, This is Reykjavik, as I said, that is the capital of the country. It's not huge, as you can see. Population is only about 200,000 or so, and that's where over almost 65% of the people live. So small island, not many people, but just a great, great, great visit. This is the Blue Lagoon. So you'll close your tour there. I'm going to do a brief um, day by day with you in a little bit, but this is the Blue Lagoon that you'll visit while you're on the way. Now, if you remember, I talked to you about the no optional extra policy. So you're going to get entrance into the Blue Lagoon. You will also have dinner there before you go to the Blue Lagoon, and that is all included in the tour price. One of my competitors, who shall remain nameless, offers the option to go to the Blue Lagoon, and they are charging, based on their little dollar signs on their website, a minimum of $150 per person, and that does not include dinner. So there's at least a $200 value in your savings when you're traveling with us. This is the Thingvellir National Park. So this is where the two tectonic plates, the North American plate and the Eurasian plate, they're actually separating about 8/10 of an inch per year. I looked all over. I had a picture of myself further down. Further down is where the coach parks, and then you walk down this way, where I had one foot on the Eurasian plate and one foot on the North American plate. I couldn't find it, looked in all my presentations, but that's a neat one to take. Now, this is the Gullfoss Waterfalls. Um, it's really neat. When we went on our trip, it was our sales team. So it's a little bit more relaxed. I didn't even look at the day-to-day agenda. I just got on the coach in the morning and away I went. And I said, Calgon, take me away. So this particular day, we get in this parking lot, and I get off the coach, and I just hear this roar, and I'm like, what is that? So I kind of just look, and I'm see all these people walking in the one direction, and I go over, and you make this little turn, and this is what you come upon. Absolutely amazing. It's a double drop waterfall, as you can see. Uh, so it's along the Golden Circle. I talked about the Golden Circle a little bit, so it's part of the Golden Circle. And as you can see, you can walk right to the end. Those little dots at about 11 o'clock or so, those are people that you can walk right to the end of the waterfall. Great, great stop. So some of the tour highlights for you. Stroker geyser. So this little geyser, it goes off about every 10 minutes. So if you run late and oh, we missed it, don't worry. It'll be back in about 10 minutes or so, like clockwork. So it goes up, it's not some huge waterfall, some geyser, I mean, but it's probably, although I have never been out to Yosemite, but it goes up probably 40, 50 feet. You go to Skogafoss Waterfall. This one is that's a little gravel road there. So the coach comes right up to where the water starts, and you just take in the power of the waterfall. I remember when we were there. Um, so what we're talking 5, 6 years or so ago. Even though I was younger then, I still wasn't going to do. The guy who now does our pricing for us, young whippersnapper. He went on that right hand side. There's a little trail with the handles, and he, of course, had to show off, and he ran all the way up to the top. So I just waved and said, "You're just wonderful." But it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. One of the other waterfalls that you're going to see. I talked to you about the Blue Lagoon, as well as the Thingvellir National Park. We also make a stop at the Lava Center. So as I said, and as you probably know, Iceland, very volcanic. So it talks about the history. It talks about where the active ones are now, when they most recently went off and whatnot. Excuse me. And then we go to the Glacier Lagoon. This was so cool. So we're sitting there, and on the right-hand side is the glacier, and pieces of the glacier fall off into the lagoon. and they kind of just make their way slowly but surely. They go from the right to the left, and there is a cut in the land. And so it makes the glaciers go through that cut in the land, they go out into the ocean, and then the tide brings them back in. That was the picture of David. That's where that picture was taken. Um, just so neat. It hopefully your weather will be nice because it was absolutely beautiful. I remember I was sitting next to my colleague who's outside of Philly, and he just looked at me and he just goes, "This is freaking great." It was just so nice. Really nature at its best. I absolutely loved it. We're going to go to Diamond Beach, so that's the other side. So when those pieces of the glacier come ashore, that's where they go. We make this wonderful stop at the Friedheimer Tomato Farm where you're going to have lunch. It's a big greenhouse. You know, they'll walk you through and do a little tour about the tomatoes and whatnot, and you'll have lunch there. It's very simple. It's really just tomatoes. You have a nice glass of wine. They probably have four or five different tomato soup, I should say, um, with four or five different pieces of bread and just dipping it in and then sipping on a glass of wine. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. There's a little bit bigger picture of the Glacier Lagoon. That's where that couple was sitting. So that is the size of the Glacier Lagoon. Black sand on the bottom. And as you can see, you're in the middle of nowhere. It's not huge. We were about 20 people. Again, first week of October, we were half of the ones that were there. So it's really kind of very, very special. It's nice and quiet. It gets a little chilly, just, you just stoop down and keep your head sticking out. So, but it's something to experience itself. So there's the Foss waterfall. That's the one that you can walk behind. And then there is just the routing of the tour itself. So that's the Stroker geyser I was talking to you about. So you see, it does go up quite high. Those are the people that it's standing next to. It's just to give you an aspect of how high it does go. But you're going to start. So these are the accommodations. You're starting with the Foss Hotel in Reykjavik. One thing you'll notice is the decor. They're they're IKEA specials. They have that simple, very basic decor in their sleeping rooms. So this is centrally located right in town. You're going to start and end at this hotel, and then you're going to head out to the Strakta Hotel. This is about an hour or so outside of Reykjavik. One thing that's kind of neat when you go to these smaller hotels, this one we have another one as well. If you want, you can have them ring you if you go to bed and the Northern Lights haven't showed up, but they do during the night, they'll call and wake you if you want to experience the Northern Lights. They have I haven't seen this hotel. We didn't use this hotel back in 18, but I'm told they have hot tubs there, so you can sit in the hot tubs and just really relax in the day. Then when using same chain as the first hotel, the Foss Hotel in Newpar, I was on that first row, so it was neat. The sun rose, I remember, on that side. It's a two-sided hotel, and in the same standard rooms as I mentioned, but you're doing 2 nights there, which is nice. And then lastly, you come back to the Foss Hotel for your final night, finishing the tour. Again, you're doing 2 post nights there. And so you'll actually have a little bit of a longer stay. So just quickly through, I've talked a lot already about the itinerary. So day one, you're going to arrive. Well, actually, you're going to arrive a day before, which is wonderful. So your body will get a chance to acclimate. So if you're taking that pre-night, then the tour will start the following day, probably about 2 o'clock or so. Once you see that word panoramic tours, that you're going to be on the coach and you'll get an overview of the city itself. And that night you'll have a welcome drink where you'll meet, I should say, your fellow travelers and your guide. And since you're riding town, you'll have plenty of opportunities. This is an independent evening. So you can go out and find a place to dine for that night. And then later that evening, we're gonna, if you wish, we'll put you back on the coach and we'll be in search of the elusive Northern Lights. So they'll take the coach out, see if we can find him. If not, there's still plenty of opportunities because we're going away from the city lights as we continue the tour. And again, there's that famed the Golden Circle with Thingvellir National Park with the two tectonic plates. There's that picture of the Secret Lagoon as well. The That's the tomato farm, so it's all set up for you folks when you come in. Again, they'll the hydroponic or whatever way they grow those tomatoes. They'll explain all that stuff to you, and then you'll have an opportunity to sit down, like I said, enjoy a glass of wine and have some nice soup and dip into the with the bread, and then the Gulfos waterfall as we talked about as well. Then there's the lava center I talked about. So they have like the map of the country, what's active, what hasn't been for a little while. We go to the Skogar Folk Museum. This is just part of it. It's not all inside, although it's very interesting. They have some relics and a replica of a boat, the type of boats that folks used, probably the Vikings. They were very active in the whole region as a whole. But there's also housing. So you could see what they did. They're very, obviously they're trying to protect themselves from the elements. So it's really interesting to see what their housing was like. And there's the Skogafoss waterfall. So that's the one you drive up, and Kieran showed off and ran up to the top. And then we also go to the Black Sand Beach. What struck us when we went there are those columns on the left-hand side, very similar to Giant's Causeway in Ireland. So you have the Black Sand Beach, and then you have these hexagonal columns as well. So it had some similarities to Ireland for us. And then the Scaffatel Wilderness, so that's where the lava fields are. And then then you continue on to the Glacier Lagoon. So again, that is where you sip on a cup of coffee, watch the world go by, see those glaciers make their way out to the sea, and then you'll go over. I'm trying to think if we did the beach first or we went over. I think we may have done the beach first and then came over to the lagoon side. Um, and then you're going to go to Diamond Beach, as I said. So maybe we do the Glacier Lagoon and then the Diamond Beach. Both are great. And then you're going to return to your hotel, have an independent dinner. Then the following day, you're going to do the Solangefoss waterfall. That's the one you can walk behind. Just be careful. Then we go back to Reykjavik where the afternoon is at your leisure. So there's that church I talked to you about, one of the iconic buildings in all of Iceland. And then you'll have time to go back to your hotel, have some time to relax, and then we'll head out to the Blue Lagoon. So you'll go over there, you'll have dinner first, and then you'll go over to the lagoon side. Both of the Blue Lagoon and the Secret Lagoon, there's locker rooms for you to change in. So just make sure you bring your bathing suit, so you'll have the opportunity to experience both of those. Now this tour, so it ends after breakfast, so you'll have breakfast. Again, what Jennifer has in store for you, I don't know. But this would be as if the tour ended that day. You would just make your way back to the airport and head home.
So we're actually snorkeling between the two continents at Silfra that morning, and then the next day we're doing some whale watching before going to the airport. So that's what's on our agenda in case you wanted to know, Chris.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. So this is the pricing guidelines for you. So the tour is $35.95 per person based on double occupancy, so meaning two people in the room. The single supplement is 1045, so then a single would be the 35.95 plus the 1045. And then the deposit is 250 per person. But what we've done, we had this when Jennifer first took out space on this departure. We have an early booking discount, for lack of a better description. We've opened it back up. So if you book and deposit by April 15th, I pushed it. I thought today was it is the 15th? No, it's the 17th. Had a busy day today.
That's okay. We'll take that extension. Thank you.
But it's there for you. The only difference is if you use that early booking deposit, that deposit is non-refundable. But I always recommend to take advantage of that because what you can do is you take that savings and you put it towards your insurance. If COVID has told us anything, it's that you should be traveling with insurance no matter where you go. So take advantage of the 5% and put it towards your insurance. If perchance you don't want to do that, the deposit is becomes non-refundable 100 days prior to the departure date. The final payment due to us is 65 days prior. Um, Jennifer, I'm guessing, would probably want that a good week to 2 weeks before that so she can do all the little gatherings and whatnot just to get everything in shape for you before you go. And there's Jennifer's info. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions anybody may have.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anyone have any questions about this tour? All right. See Marcy shaking her head, but everyone else has their camera off. So I'm going to assume you're also shaking your heads no. If you do have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer those. You can email the address on the screen or call 615-989-6383. We'd love for you to join us on this tour. And for those of you who are watching who are joining us on this tour, we can't wait to see you in October. And we do have a get together planned for those of you who are local to pick up your backpacks. And I'm going to have another special surprise in there for you too. So stay tuned for that. Thank you again, Chris, for hosting us tonight. And we're just so appreciative to you and to CIE. And we're really excited to go on this trip.
Thanks, Jennifer. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.